Donald Trump just got a rude awakening around the world. What you just saw there at the beginning of this video was a massive protest of over 100,000 people in Budapest, in Hungary. So Donald Trump's buddy, Viktor Orban, banned LGBTQ pride events and banned pride parades, and has basically done in Hungary what Donald Trump is copying here in the United States. And so Orban warned that if you were to throw an LGBTQ pride parade in Budapest or anywhere in Hungary, there would be massive consequences. The government would hurt you. And the people said, we are showing up. In essence, the No Kings protests here in the United States, we're seeing that around the world. And frankly, it really started in Europe with the No Kings protests and was brought here to the United States. Let me just show you another angle of this, because Donald Trump should know that his crew right now of people like Viktor Orban and Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un are really not all that popular internationally. Take a look right here. This is another angle in a bridge in Budapest. You can just see how many people are there. It's massive, but it really reminds me a lot of the No Kings protests we saw across the United States. Play this clip. So while all of that was going on, you had Prime Minister Carney in Canada post the following: Canada's new government is rebuilding, rearming, and reinvesting in our armed forces to ensure they have the equipment they need. We're building up our defense industries, creating more fulfilling, high-paying careers for Canadians. And I recently reported on the European Union Canada Defense Pact that was entered into right before the NATO summit. Canada is arming itself to align with Europe to defend its sovereignty from the Trump regime and the United States. It's shocking I even have to say that, but that's what's taking place. I want you to see right here, this was from June 27th, this clip, when Donald Trump posted that he's going to stop all trade negotiations with Canada because Trump just found out about some digital tax that went into effect in Canada back in June 2024, but Trump just learned about it. And then he said, as a result, I am shutting down all trade discussions with Canada. They treat me so unfairly, and I'm going to impose more tariffs on Canada in 7 days. Just watch Prime Minister Carney, how he basically just laughs off Donald Trump. This is how intelligent adults act right here. Play this clip.
Have you spoken to the president today yet, sir?
No, I didn't speak to the president today.
What do you? Any reaction to the news you put on?
No, look, we'll continue to conduct these complex negotiations in the best interest of Canadians. It's a negotiation. Ça va continuer.
And speaking about unpopular world leaders, Benjamin Netanyahu, a very unpopular world leader, someone who's been criminally prosecuted in Israel for committing crimes in Israel. And he's still being criminally prosecuted for crimes inside of Israel. So Donald Trump starts extorting Israel and saying that if the charges are not dropped against Benjamin Netanyahu for the crimes that he committed, that the Israel judiciary system is prosecuting against Netanyahu. Trump says that the United States will stop supplying weapons to Israel. Y'all remember the first impeachment of Donald Trump when he extorted President Zelensky and said, if you don't go after my political enemies, Zelensky, and have a prosecution against Biden's family, we're not going to give you the missiles that you need and the defense equipment that you need. Remember that? Donald Trump's just posting extortion. This is extortion. This is a crime that I'm reading on social media. And I know corporate news will just be like, oh, we're too busy to report this. That's my corporate media voice for whatever reason. Here's what Donald Trump posted. It is terrible what they are doing in Israel to Bibi Netanyahu. He is a war hero and a prime minister who did a fabulous job working with the United States to bring great success in getting rid of the dangerous nuclear threat in Iran. Doesn't it sound like, remember Borat? Great success. He did great success. And I miss how Donald Trump talks. Borat, Sacha Baron Cohen he played the part of the dictator in that movie, which is parody, but I think real life is more parody than the movie The Dictator. Importantly, he is right now, great success. Importantly, he is right now in the process of negotiating a deal with Hamas, which will include getting the hostages back. How is it possible that the prime minister of Israel can be forced to sit in a courtroom all day long over nothing? Cigars, Bugs Bunny doll, etc. It is a political witch hunt very similar to the witch hunt that I was forced to endure. In other words, they're both criminals. This travesty of justice will interfere with both Iran and Hamas negotiations. In other words, it is insanity doing what the out-of-control prosecutors are doing to Bibi Netanyahu. The United States of America spends billions of dollars a year, far more than on any other nation, protecting and supporting Israel. We are not going to stand for this. And again, that's extortion right there. And by the way, the United States spent about $1 billion defending Israel from the ballistic missiles in Iran, and then the United States depleted about 20% of its missile reserve to the missiles that strike down the ballistic missiles, the defensive missiles. We used 20% of our reserve and spent $1 billion, right? So as we've been talking about the big disastrous budget bill, just think about what $1 billion could have been used for in the United States of America to build homes, to make your life more affordable. But this is what Trump's bragging about. And then he goes, we just had a great victory with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu at the helm, and this greatly tarnishes our victory. Let Bibi go. He's got a big job to do. And actually, we don't know that it was a big victory. It seems Iran, their nuclear facilities still exist. They seem damaged, but they could be back up soon. Donald Trump encouraged Iran and China to engage in lots of cheap oil deals. Kind of a weird thing to say. It seems that Iran was able to move its uranium before these strikes took place. So no, it doesn't seem like it was actually that much of a success at all. And Iran is going to expedite, I think, its nuclear program at this point. That's what it says it's going to do. You've got Lauren Boebert posting things like this about Donald Trump. The new thing with the MAGAs, and it's really creepy, is the Republican Party, they call Trump their daddy now. I did whole other videos on this, so I'm not going to say it here because it creeps me out any more than this. They all call him their daddy, and they say, hey, daddy, Trump, daddy, because they're a bunch of really sick, twisted, demented people. I'm just going to be direct. Like, the hell are they doing? Like, the right corporate news like normalizes that. They're like, oh, that's normal. No, they're calling him daddy. The F? What the F? So she goes, the portrait of President Trump in the Colorado State Capitol will officially be changed to this one here. Much better. A painting worthy of the man it depicts. Our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, goes, I agree. He looks like an old malevolent psychotic bastard with orange makeup and hair transplants. It is perfect. Just should also note that Elon Musk has been consistently attacking the disastrous budget bill yesterday. He posted, the latest Senate draft bill will destroy millions of jobs in America and cause immense strategic harm to our country. Utterly insane and destructive. It gives handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. You know, I was asked a question by my nephew, who's 11 years old. He said, Ben, explain to me some of the reasons why this disastrous budget bill you say is a disaster. I said, imagine when cars were invented. The United States government did everything in its power to shut down the production of cars and said, we really need to be promoting horse and buggy. And that's kind of what this disastrous budget bill does. It says all of the great developments that are happening in the future when it comes to energy development and technology development, it basically says, screw that. We need to focus on giving subsidies to coal and helping the coal industry because Donald Trump likes coal and hates windmills and hates solar. I mean, there's obviously so much more wrong with the bill than that. Obviously taking away Medicaid from 15 million people. It's why I call it a murder bill, because it's literally going to kill people. And you don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to share with you what hospital networks are saying across the country in a second, from like Louisiana and North Carolina, not exactly like leftist groups, as if that's how the MAGAs want to characterize it. But of course, this disastrous budget bill gives massive tax benefits to the billionaires. It screws over working class people, and it's just very, very, very cruel, as you know. Let's go talk about Elon Musk also posting how it's going to destroy people's jobs, how utterly insane and destructive it is. Here was what real leaders were doing. This was a moment that brought tears to my eyes. Former President Biden and former Vice President Kamala Harris together holding hands during the funeral service for Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark Hortman, and they previously paid respects when their caskets were at the Minnesota Capitol building with their golden retriever also. Let me just show you this video, play this clip.
Our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation. Deliver us, Lord, we pray, from every evil. Graciously grant peace in our days, that by the help of your mercy we may be always free from sin and safe from all distress.
And then put that in contrast to what Donald Trump said a few weeks back on June 17th, where he said he'll never call Governor Walz. He's a whack job. Why would I call the whack job? Even though there were those horrific assassinations in Minnesota, why would I call that guy? Here, play this clip.
Governor of Minnesota's so whacked out. I'm not calling him. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, hi, how you doing? The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
When it seems with MAGA, it comes to who's going to be more cruel than the next. Ron DeSantis and the MAGA Republicans in Florida. By the way, they have a huge Cuban and Venezuelan and Haitian population in Florida. What are we doing here? Remember, they stripped temporary protected status from Venezuelans, Cubans, and Haitians. So people who Biden gave temporary protected status to have now lost that status. So they're subject to be deported and sent to Alligator Alcatraz in the Everglades in Florida. It's what they are building in Florida right now. There was this kind of abandoned airstrip that they've turned into what they call Alligator Alcatraz, where they're going to take the migrants who they round up off the street. They say, 3,000 a day, throw them on this almost like island surrounded by swamp with killer alligators, and then leave people there. And if they try to get away, and the alligators eat them. That's actually what they're doing. They call it Alligator Alcatraz. A few more things I want to talk about. 1 out of 4 nursing homes say that they will have to close their doors as a result of the disastrous budget bill. Bad stat. A group of Louisiana hospitals is out with a statement warning Medicaid cuts in the Senate GOP's bill would be historic in their devastation. And then the North Carolina Association as well came out with similar statements. So that's where we're at. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Shout out to the Midas Mighty in Budapest. I know we got some fans out there standing up to Orban. We've got a pro-democracy community across the world. In about 90 minutes or so, just check back on this YouTube channel every 90 minutes. I'm sure you know that's when we put up our next video. I'm going to be doing a whole other video about the budget bill, what happened, where we go from here. I'm going to be doing a video on Canada striking back. I got Charlie Angus, one of, I know, your favorite and my favorite guests on, about Canada's response to Donald Trump's attacks. We'll talk about that all. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million. Well, you're on 5 million. 6 million subscribers. Sometimes I forget. 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.
New Midas merch drop! Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.MeidasTouch.com.